Dear students, welcome to the next lecture of electrical measurement. We have already started this unit, that is the first unit, and we have covered the first topic, that was standards, various types of standards which are used in the measurement. Now we move on to our next topic, and that is errors in measurement. Okay. Now, since we are talking about the electrical measurement, and in measurement, as I had already described in the earlier lectures, that what we do in measurement is just compare an unknown quantity with an accepted standard quantity. Okay, so that is a very in general way I am talking about. Okay, so generally it involves connecting an instrument into the system. Okay, whatever the system which is under consideration, so you just connect that instrument into that system and you observe the response on the instrument, isn't it? That's what you do in the process of measurement. Okay, so obviously there is some true value of the measurement, and there is some observed value which is observed or which is seen from the instrument. Okay, so uh, sometimes connecting a measuring instrument into the circuit under consideration disturbs the circuit, which cause the measurement to differ from the expected value. Or there can be certain other factors as well, which can introduce some deviation, you can say, or uh, just getting the reading which is not actually the true value. So there is always some error, you can say. Okay, so that is what we have to talk about. So that means that always in any type of measurement, whatever be the type of measurement, whatever quantity you are measuring, there will always be some error in that measurement. Okay, so let us first of all discuss the different types of errors which are present. Okay, and then we can also have some mathematical analysis related to the error calculations. Okay, so the different types of errors can be the first one is the gross error. The second one is the systematic error. And the third one is called the random error. Okay, so these are the three different categories of errors which may be introduced into the measurement process. Okay, so we'll try to discuss all three of them one by one. Okay, let us first discuss the gross error. Okay, so now gross error, mainly these type of errors actually they covers the error which are related to the human mistakes in reading or maybe using the instruments and in recording and calculating the measurement results. Okay, so these are mainly due to the human mistakes. Okay, so there can be mistakes in different things, like in reading the instrument, okay, or in using the instrument, okay, not using the instrument properly. So there will always be some error in the measurement, so that can also be one of the human mistakes. Or you may commit error in recording the readings, whatever be the output of the instrument. There are always some chances that the readings are not recorded correctly. Okay, for example, uh, let us just consider that, suppose if the reading was 25.8 volt, okay, and by mistakenly you just noted it down 28.5 volt, so that is one human error. Okay, or if you have to read from the scale, so there may be some errors in reading the scale as well, okay, not reading the scale properly. Okay, so that may be the other type of error which a human might commit. Okay, so we can say that the large number of gross errors, they are just attributed to the carelessness. Okay, carelessness of humans, and such as improper reading of an instrument or recording the result uh, differently. Okay, so improper reading of instrument, okay, or recording the result differently than the actual uh, you can say reading. Okay, that can be one more example. Recording different result than actual reading. Okay, so these are the different reasons, you can say. Okay, sometimes it may also happen that you use the scale which does not correspond to the setting of the range. Okay, so in instruments like you consider a multi-range voltmeter. Okay, so if which the multi-range voltmeter actually uses a single set of scale markings with different number designations for the various voltage ranges. Okay, so it may be possible that you use the scale which does not correspond to the setting of the range selector of the voltmeter. So I am just giving you the different examples, or the different, you can say, reasons due to which these type of errors will happen, and all these type of errors will actually come under the category of this gross error. Okay, so mostly the human related mistakes are there. So now one thing about these errors, that they cannot be treated mathematically. Okay, so these errors cannot be treated mathematically. Okay, so now since mostly human errors are there in these type of categories, so by how we can avoid these type of errors? So they can be avoided only by taking care in reading and recording the measurement data. Okay, so they can be or they may be avoided by taking care in reading and in reading and recording the measurement data. Okay, so this is the way by which we can avoid these type of errors. Okay, or one more there can be one more way by which we can avoid these errors, is to take repeated set of readings. Okay, we do not rely on one reading only, rather we take 2 or 3 readings for the same measurement. Okay, so that is always considered a good practice if you take more than one reading of the same quantity. Okay, so that means that you never place complete dependence on one reading, but take at least 3 separate readings. Okay, so you may also write down this point that take multiple readings or at least 2 or 3 readings. Okay, so take more than one or two readings of the same quantity. So in this way you can also avoid these gross errors to happen. Okay, now let us move to the next category of the error, and that is systematic error. Systematic errors. Okay, now these systematic errors mostly occur due to the problems related to the instrument, or you can also say the shortcomings of the instrument. The shortcomings may be defined as you can say the instrument has some defective part. Okay, or there might be some aging effect. Okay, or the effect of the environment on the instrument. So all these things come under the systematic error. Okay, now these systematic error, they are further divided into 3 different types of errors. The first one is called the instrumental errors. The second one is called the environmental errors, and the third one is called the observational errors. Okay, so first of all we discuss about this first category, that is instrumental errors. Okay, now these instrumental errors, they are inherent actually in the measuring instruments because of their mechanical structure, you can say. You can consider one example, there is an instrument, D'Arsonval type galvanometer. So we will discuss it in the coming lectures. Okay, I think this is in the second unit. So this is an instrument called D'Arsonval galvanometer. So the D'Arsonval type instrument, you can say there may be some things the friction in the bearings of various moving components. Okay, so since these are actually the electromechanical instruments, so there are some mechanical parts also. Okay, which moves to give the some readings. Okay, some output reading. So there might be some friction in the bearings of the moving components, or you can also consider one more thing, that is the irregular spring tension. That is one more thing, okay, because there are also springs which are provided to control the movement. So if there will be irregular spring tension, so that will always contribute to the error, okay. So all the types of errors related to the moving components, or the related to the errors, like the one which I had just told you, the irregular spring tension or the stretching of this spring, okay, or the overloading of instrument, all these things, they come under this category of the uh, instrumental error, okay. So the shortcomings of instrument or misuse of instrument, this can also be uh, one more reason for this instrumental error, okay. So all these things contribute to the instrumental error, okay, or the error due to the loading effect, error due to the loading effect, okay. Now what is this loading effect? We'll just see with one example, okay. Let us consider one example. Now in this example there is a voltmeter. Let us just consider there is a voltmeter and it is having a sensitivity of 1 kilo ohm per volt, okay. Now this voltmeter is connected across an unknown resistance in series with a milliammeter, okay, and this is the milliammeter, and now this voltmeter is reading 80 volt. This is the reading of ammeter and its full scale is of 150 volt, okay. Now if the milliammeter reading is 10 milliampere, you calculate the apparent resistance of the unknown resistance, because since you have to measure the resistance, okay, the voltmeter is connected across the resistance, ammeter is also present in the circuit. So you calculate the apparent value of the unknown resistance, okay. So let us just try to calculate. So the total circuit resistance will be total circuit resistance will be simply the ratio of the voltage and current. So voltage is reading 80 volt and current is reading 10 milliampere. So the circuit resistance should be 8 kilo ohm, okay. Now the actual resistance of the unknown resistance would be somewhat different, okay, because in this you have to consider the resistance of the voltmeter as well. So now if you just first of all let us calculate the voltmeter resistance. Voltmeter resistance, okay, let us just denote it with RV, the voltmeter resistance. So it will come out to be, sensitivity is given as 1000 ohm per volt, this should be multiplied by its full scale value. So the voltmeter resistance will be 150 kilo ohm, okay. So the actual value of unknown resistance let's suppose if you denote it with this Rx, so it will simply be equal to so you just put the value. This is 8 kilo ohm multiplied by 150 kilo ohm divided by 150 kilo ohm minus 8 kilo ohm, so that should come as 8.45 kilo ohm. Okay, so now there will be always some error because let's suppose that this is the actual value of the resistance and this is the apparent value of the resistance. So now we calculate the percentage error. So this will be nothing but the difference of actual value and apparent value divided by actual value. So this will be 8.45 minus 8 divided by 8.45 multiplied by 100, since we are calculating the percentage error. So that should come as 5.3%. Okay, now this is one case. In this case, whatever be the specifications that were given, by this we have calculated the error to be 5.3%. Now you consider a second case for the same problem. Now if the reading of the milliammeter is 600 milliampere, okay, and the voltmeter reading is 30 volt on a 150 volt scale, okay, so the scale is same, the readings have changed. Okay, now you again have to calculate the same things again, like the apparent resistance of the unknown resistance, the actual resistance and the error. Okay, so we'll try to calculate these things again. So now the total circuit resistance again it will just be the ratio of Vt and It. So this is 30 divided by 0.6. okay, now since the reading of the voltmeter is 30 volt, the reading of the milliammeter is 600 milliampere, so 30 divided by 0.6, that will come as 50 ohm. Okay, now the second thing, again you calculate the voltmeter resistance, that is Rv. This is the voltmeter resistance. So again just calculate it. It will be same because sensitivity is same, full scale value is also same, so that will be 150 kilo ohm. Okay, so this is the resistance, this is the value of the unknown resistance. Now there is one important thing, that we are neglecting the resistance of the milliammeter. in this case. Okay, in previous case also we have neglected the resistance of the milliammeter. Now the now you calculate the actual value, that is Rx by using the same formula as we have used previously. So you just have to put the values. So 50 multiplied by 150 kilo ohm, this is kilo ohm, and again this is also kilo ohm minus 50. Okay, so that will come as 50.167 ohm. Okay, and now if you calculate the error, you can see it will be 50.167 minus 50 divided by 50.167 multiplied by 100, so that will be 0.33%. Okay, so the error in case 1 was 5.3%, whereas the error in case 2 is 0.33%. Okay, so what you conclude from this is that in the first case, the voltmeter may give a misleading resistance, okay, when connected across 2 points in a high resistance circuit. So that was the difference in the two cases. The first case was having the high resistance circuit. Okay, the resistance of the circuit was pretty high, whereas in the second case, the same voltmeter, you can see the same voltmeter when connected in the second case in the low resistance circuit. So in this second case, the circuit resistance is low. Okay, so the same voltmeter when connected in this second case, now the error is reduced. So error is reduced means that it is giving more dependable reading in this second case as compared to the first case. Okay, so these type of errors, they are called the errors due to the loading effect. So this example actually shows that the voltmeters have a loading effect in the circuit during the measurement. Okay, so whatever the load it is subjected to in a particular circuit, that will also affect its measurement, or that will also affect its accuracy in giving the you can say any measurement. Okay, so like this is the last one, which this we have discussed the error due to the loading effect. So this is the meaning of the loading effect. So if a instrument or any instrument is connected in any circuit, so the circuit loading conditions also affect the readings of the instrument. This is the meaning of the loading effect. Okay, so this was the we were discussing the systematic error. Okay, now the third category, or I think in systematic error we were discussing the instrumental. Okay, now fine. Now the second category in this systematic error was the environmental error. Okay, environmental. Now, as the name is suggesting, that environmental errors are actually the errors due to the environment, or you can say the conditions outside the instrument, or the conditions in which the instrument have been put. Okay, so these errors are due to the conditions external to the measuring device. So errors due to conditions external to the you can say instrument. Okay. uh, so suppose the effects of change in temperature, the effects of change in pressure, humidity, or we can say the magnetic field, so all these type of conditions, they affect the reading of the instrument. So if there is any error due to these reasons, it will come under the environmental error. Okay, so any error due to the reasons which are related to the environmental conditions, this will come under the environmental error. So now how can we avoid these environmental errors? Simple, just by placing the instrument or device at a place where there is no interference of the environment. Okay, so uh, you can say by sealing these certain components. Okay, so placing placing instruments in sealed conditions, okay. So by this actually we mean to just that there will be no effect of temperature or pressure. Okay, so we will actually put the instrument in the conditions where there will be no such type of effect will be there, or using the magnetic field, so that there will be no effects of magnetic fields as well. So this is related to the environmental error. Now move on to the third type of the systematic errors, and that is the observational errors. So observational errors again are introduced by the observer. Observer means the person concerned who is taking the readings from the instrument. Okay, so the most common type of error in the observational error can be the error due to the parallax. Okay, so if there is a scale from which any person is taking the reading, so there might be some difference in reading due to this parallax error. Okay, so that is very common actually in reading from a meter scale. So you have to just see right at the center of the scale. Okay, so these errors are actually again caused by the individual observers. So for example, an observer may always introduce an error by consistently holding his head too far to the left. Okay, that is what I had discussed, that if anyone is standing very left, too far to the left side, okay, while reading a needle and scale reading, so obviously there will be error to the parallax due to this parallax. So this can be avoided by just staying in front of the instrument. Okay, so this is the main type of the observational error. So we have discussed the gross error, the systematic error, and the three errors which come under the systematic error, that is the instrumental, environmental, and observational error. The third type, apart from gross and systematic type of errors, the third type was the random error. Okay, so this is the random type of error. So as quite evident from its name that these actually are the errors which remain after the gross and systematic errors have been reduced or accounted for. Okay, so you can also say that after all the care which have to be taken care of, okay, uh, like we have accounted for the gross error and the systematic error. Now whatever be the kind of errors that may not be classified or categorized into the gross and systematic error, that will come under the category of random error. Okay, so the exact reason is not known of systematic error. Okay, so the exact reason is unknown. Okay, because these errors are due to the unknown causes. Okay, and not determinable in the ordinary process of making measurements. So but these errors are generally very small. Okay, so normally small, and that is why since we are not able to classify them into the systematic and gross errors, so we just say that these are random errors. Okay, so they can be treated mathematically. Okay, so now we have discussed the three types of the error. Just to summarize, I just write it down here. We have discussed the three types of errors, that is the gross errors, the systematic errors, and the random errors. And in systematic also we discussed the instrumental error, we discussed the environmental error, and we discussed the observational error. That is what are the errors, different error which come under these respective categories, and how to minimize these type of errors. Okay, apart from these errors, there are also certain other classifications of error, or rather there is some mathematical analysis also related to the errors that we will see in the coming lectures. So this is all for today. Thank you very much.